Good morning, valuepreneurs and sales shakers. Yours truly, Helga Stewart, is back. I'm founder of Lead Results, and I am so glad to be with you guys again. I've missed you. It felt like the holiday months lasted forever, and I couldn't have wished for a better guest today to join me in this thrilling conversation about entrepreneurship in sales entrepreneurship. What is this? I mean, should sellers be should sellers be entrepreneurs? Should entrepreneurs be salespeople? Abdel Camará is going to help us to really figure this out. Abdel, welcome to our show. Welcome to Sales TV. It's a pleasure to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi. First of all, thank you very much, Helga, for having me here today. It's a massive pleasure to be here with you and sharing all this content with all these people. Who am I? So I am an entrepreneur. I'm a sales specialist, and I've got a book on sales called The Power of Sales. And also I help entrepreneurs and businesses on how to grow the sales using some techniques we're going to share here with you guys. But predominantly, I work in all the Portuguese-speaking markets and also based in the UK, which is what I am now talking to you.
Indeed, and it's wonderful to have you in local soil. I'm still joining you from Lisbon, and it's always great when you're here. You can feel the earth move when you're back, that is for sure. Welcome also to all of Abdel's listeners, regular listeners. It's wonderful. A warm welcome to you as well. This is the lounge where us sellers talk about all these frank issues. And I'll be honest, I felt a little bit like an entrepreneur when I was doing sales. But it was only when I started to run my own business that I really felt like this whole brand new world expanded in front of me, because I had to become an entrepreneur and run my own business. So as salespeople and sales experts, really worried about quota every month and every quarter, how can we integrate entrepreneurship into our profiles? And why is it important? Why should we have it?
I believe that every salesperson should have the entrepreneurial in their veins, because being an entrepreneur means wanting to solve a problem or specific problems in the market. And I believe that as sales professionals, one of the things that we are problem solvers. So we're here to help our clients solve a specific problem. So for me, it's very important that every single salesperson understands this concept, because once they do that, they become even better salespeople, because now, as I usually say, sales is actually serving. The more we understand that we're serving other people, trying to help them solve a specific problem, then obviously the better we'll become. And becoming or being an entrepreneur basically is that, being disruptive and seeking solutions all the time, regardless of how many obstacles we're going to face in between. So it's very important.
I love that mindset. Yeah. I mean, what in practical terms, what are we talking about here? So, I coming to work.
I can't hear you, Helga. I think it's back now. Try again.
Okay.
Yeah, it's back. I can hear it all.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much. So in practical terms, tell us a little bit about it. So, I'm coming into work. I'm a sales manager, sales director. I'm in charge of my own territory. I've got my clients. I'm focused in problems. Where does the entrepreneur profile come in, and what are we doing with it specifically?
Amazing. So what we're doing is, number one, we focus in solutions. So we understand the problem and we are focusing. So what is an entrepreneur? What do we do in this sort of type of world? So number one, we are very optimistic people, because we believe that we can change the world in a way. And the way we change the world is bringing solutions to the world. So what I believe every sales professional should have is the mentality. So this mindset that the world is ours to change, to contribute positively, so people can live even better. So what I would say is, a salesperson comes to your office, the number one priority should be their clients, right? So it's not actually, because most of the times we think a lot about the products. Products and services are important without a doubt. But believe me or not, they're only important because they're going to solve a specific problem. Products and services are just a vehicle to get your clients from where they are to where they want to be. And what I believe that salespeople can get a great advantage is seeing the world through the entrepreneurial sort of eyes, which is uh, seeing the problem, seeing the opportunities, and going after them. How? With the attitude of, I can solve this, I can change this, it is possible, I can do it. And it's not that you're not going to face difficulties. It's not that it's going to be easy walk in a park. But if you believe you can change somebody else's life by providing the best product and service that supports the person, because it's not about you, it's about shifting the attention towards your clients. That's what I really believe. And whenever I'm working with sales teams, and giving training to them, and that's the number one thing I say: shift the focus, not in you, not in the product, but the solutions your clients are looking for, and your product is just a vehicle to get them to where they want to be.
That's so true. That is so true. It would be lovely, maybe just for a few minutes, to focus a little bit on practically speaking. When I'm going out there doing prospecting, minding my business, my book of business, looking for opportunities. As an entrepreneur, I feel like you have a wider scope of vision. I worry about marketing. I worry about social media. I worry about the costs. I worry about finances. I worry about profitability. I worry about organizing my schedule and productivity. I worry about all of the types of jobs that may, to some people listening out there today, joining us, be responsible, be allocated to senior management, right? And I worry about that now, because I am senior management. I am the C-level suite of my business, right? And so what are your thoughts around that? Because, in sales, we can be so focused in prospecting and advancing deals and managing our territory, but we wouldn't necessarily worry about the business as a whole, right?
Okay, that is a great question. So I usually say that there's one thing that really changed the way I see business as a whole and sales. So for many years, I worked in sales for 15 years, right? Before I actually started my business. I'm still in sales. I will always be a salesperson. And what really changed for me was what you've just said, which is what we call the bird's vision, is starting to see things from the top to bottom, right? When we're flying on a plane and we can see everything from the top.
Yeah, the helicopter view.
That's it. So that changes a lot, because many salespeople, including myself when I was starting, we usually see things only what's in front of us, and we don't actually get to see the big picture. So there was one thing that really changed my perspective, when I was working, I was this question I asked: what if this business was mine? What would I do differently? Because being a salesperson of a company is one thing. Being the owner of the company gives you a total different perspective and view of the business. And that, I believe, every sales professional needs that vision, because it's not just about, this is my role, this is my job, I just need to go about this one, and then all the rest of it, I'll leave it to the other people that do. No, if you think 360 degrees, you'll understand that your input is very, very valuable, and is as valuable as somebody in marketing, somebody in HR, whatever.
Customer support.
Everything. So whenever I'm out prospecting, trying to get clients, because at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is to sell my products, not because of the products. I want to repeat this again, because it solves a problem in the markets. It's got to be, we have to shift this whole narrative in sales about products and services to clients orientated, clients in the center of it, clients first. And if you understand that, clients first, in a sense that their problems and our products and services, all they do, they solve that problem. But I need to have a wider vision of the whole business, regardless if I'm a top or a simple salesperson in the business. The whole lot needs to be seen. So that's going to help me better in managing my time, scheduling things better, how I'm going to interact with my colleagues within the business, how am I going to bring solutions, because it's not just thinking about what I'm paid to do. So Jim Rohn once said a phrase that's, stays with me forever. And he says, it's not about what you've got to gain in the business. It's about who you're becoming in the business. And that is more valuable, because money, we're all going to earn more money, right? But it's who you become ultimately becomes your value in the market. And as a salesperson, sales is the job and the profession we all need. There's no business without sales. Full stop.
I love that.
So,
and we love Jim Rohn here. He's a guru. We love him here. So let me pick up on that, because to so many companies, client centricity is still a brand rather than an actual thing that they do. And and we advocate a lot about value selling rather than product selling. But being able to be a client-centric organization, it's easier said than done. But let us just, I suppose, talk a little bit to the leadership that's watching us here, because I would imagine that a lot of sellers are listening to us, a lot of professionals are hearing and saying, oh my gosh, I've been trying to tell my boss, my manager, my director that same message for years now, but leadership is still focused on hitting targets and hitting goals on a need to know basis. And so this need to know basis says that, go do your job. Here's a list of characteristics and products and new features that we're launching this year. Here's a new campaign. Go and sell. And so what message could you share to our viewers who are leaders in that space and who still may not see the value of stepping out of this need to know basis?
Amazing, great question. So we have to separate the two sort of roles here, right? So we're not saying a salesperson is a salesperson. His or her role and job is to actually bring in more businesses. That's fine. But the managers, the leaders of the companies, their jobs is actually the number one priority is setting the culture of the business and inspiring and motivating other people to do their jobs. Okay. Obviously, as a senior leader, you've got the role of knowing all the numbers, understanding the functionality of the businesses, whether this is going this direction, that direction. I understand that. But I believe what really sets the difference is the inspiration is what we stand for, because people tend to follow their leaders. Leaders are people who actually set examples. Now, every single culture of every business starts from the leader. Is the way you show up, the way you talk to people, the way you present yourself, the way you say you're going to do something, you do it. But more importantly, in my opinion, is how you support your fellow employees or your fellow colleagues in achieving their results. And when I say their results, their success, I'm not only talking about the business, because we need to understand this. People are people. People are people. They are in a job, obviously, but they do have personal issues, they do have personal challenges. So, a good leader, we all can remember good leaders, good teachers, good professors, good parents. We remember them because of not what their roles are, but because of what they actually give to us, what they actually, when and wherever we need them, they're there for us. So I believe the number one priority of a leader is to inspire, is to motivate, and create culture in a business. If you
Yeah.
don't have the sales culture, it's going to be very difficult for you to pass that down to your the people you manage. And
Yeah.
we can all sense if he's a good leader or a bad leader. We all can do it.
Yeah. But so do you think that it makes a difference if I'm a good leader? Can I still be a good leader and treat my sales force on a, giving them this type of approach of need to know basis? Look, you don't need to know about our whole business, just stick to selling. No, does that make me a bad leader? Can I become a better leader if I open up the scope and create the resources internally as well as the culture, so that every single tip of the spear seller can actually become an entrepreneur? Does that
Of
make me
course.
a better leader, do you think? And
So
why?
I
And
believe
how do
so.
I do that?
I believe so. And then simple ways of doing things is, most of times, some of these leaders, it's easier for them in case they've been and they've played that role before, but they don't have to, right? And being a good or bad leader is not set by what I say is a good or bad leader, right? We all just know when we are becoming good or bad leaders because we get feedback, and the feedback never really lies. And the feedback doesn't come from what people say with their voices. It comes back, through numbers, how people behave within the business, how they actually talk to their clients. Are they motivated to be in that job? Do they like what they do? It's very important because all these things are feedback. And then as a leader, we have to be willing to take that feedback and adjust, adapt as quick as we can, because the business is going. It's like, think of a ship. Ship is on the sea and we're going. Things gonna change. Things gonna have to adapt quickly. We have to make sure that everyone is safe where they are first, and make sure that everyone's got the resources they need to actually play their roles in a better way, and just give them perspective in a different way. So when I say change the narrative and have a wider vision of the business, it is possible. It's down to a leader to actually pass that down to every single person. Now, becoming a good leader has to have one thing for sure in common, which is the skill of communication. Better leaders communicate better, even in terms of chaos, even in terms of very uncertainty. We see that good leaders can inspire us through what they say, but most importantly, as in their actions, what they do. So I believe it's very easy, and it's not easy, but it's simpler to do.
Yeah, I love that. So I wanted to grab kind of the this last part of the show here
Yeah.
to maybe shall we go a little bit technical? I don't know. You tell me. But so if I want to become more entrepreneurial in my approach, so let's just say that we're all great at value selling, centered around the client. We're great at positioning our differentiators and starting conversations. How do I, in practice, what things can I be doing to embrace this entrepreneurial profile? I've got so many friends in London and beyond, and they'll be thinking, okay, listen, what Abdel is saying makes 100% sense. So I do want to become more entrepreneurial. And let's just imagine that leadership is not an obstacle. So I, come in the morning, start my day. What am I doing differently? Am I adding more spreadsheets to my logistics? What am I doing differently exactly? As somebody who's growing this entrepreneurial approach to selling.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. So what we do is, I usually say, your day doesn't start in the morning. It starts the night before. What I mean by that is you have to be organized. There are 3 key things I believe every single salesperson or entrepreneur needs to have. And they're gonna have to invest in these 3 things, which is the knowledge of the product that you sell, fine. Your self-knowledge, like self-development, and constantly developing yourself. Okay, it's not by chance that they say that leaders or great leaders, they read on average 30 to 60 books a year. Most people never read 2 books in a year. So the constant growth is very important, because the only thing that's going to take you from where you are to where you want to be is what you know and what you do with what you know. So that is very important. And the third thing is learning more and more about techniques, because sales is technique, mindset, and then product. These are the 3 things, very important. Now, you want to become a really good salesperson or good leader, what you do on a daily basis. I'll give you my example. When I moved to the UK, I could barely speak English, right? I had a job in selling in a business in the office where I had to pick up the phone and sell. I was working in the automotive industry, high end, and I didn't know how to sell properly, number 1. Number 2, I couldn't speak the language. Here's the thing. I was the worst salesperson in the room. And there's one thing I said. I said, look, in the next year or so, I'm going to become a better version of myself. And what I did, Helga, was new habits. I started waking up every single day, 2 hours before my usual time of waking up. And all I did between 5 a.m. till 6:30 was studying sales and self-development, studying myself. Guess what happened a year and a half, 18 months after that? I became the top salesperson in the room, right? Not because I was a genius, not because I knew more than other people, but I'll tell you why. I was doing something most people weren't willing to do, which is investing in myself and putting in the work to actually learn. So there's no magic pill here. You're going to have to go through things. You're going to have to learn. You're going to have to do and implement. And that's what I say to most people. Get the habit of reading first, being in places and environment where people can teach you. Become a student. Whatever you are, it doesn't matter what level you're in, become a student all the time. The day starts the night before. Prepare yourself and discipline. I believe that one of the things that really, really sets me apart from my peers is my willingness to learn and my discipline to implement. These 2 things, I believe, regardless of what career path you want to take, you have to have these things. Willingness to learn and discipline to implement. These 2 things will set you apart, for sure.
Nice. Let's just give a quick shout out to business owners who don't see themselves as sellers.
Right.
What have you got to say to them?
They are sellers. Obviously, they are.
They don't see themselves as such.
Yeah, they don't. I'll tell you why. And there are salespeople that don't see themselves as salespeople. And that was one of them.
It's true.
I'll tell you why.
It's so true.
That is true, right? And the reason being is very simple. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because of beliefs. So we all believe that, not all of us now, but most salespeople, when I started my sales career, I'd never said to anyone I was a salesperson. I used to find ways, I used to find sort of nice ways of saying people what I do.
Workarounds.
Right?
I don't think I still say that. I don't think I even say that now. That
I'm a salesperson. I say it now.
I do say it. I say I'm a proud salesperson. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wasn't. So I never used to say this. And the reason being is very simple. It's because there are beliefs, negative beliefs about salespeople. Now, think about this. When we think sales, we think liar sometimes. We think somebody that's not going to tell me the truth, somebody that's going to trying to get to my pocket by lying to me, by doing or saying things. And obviously, if we connect all these negative beliefs with sales, guess what? I'm not going to say I'm a salesperson, because I don't want to be seen as or perceived as a bad person, a liar, or whatever. That really needs to shift. So whenever I see people say, no, I'm not a salesperson, I don't know anything about sales, I don't like even selling. People even say I don't like selling. Well, that's not true, because we are always selling all the time, every day. Whether we're selling to get, ideas to get past. I usually say this if you are married or if you got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, I can tell you sold yourself very well.
Yeah.
That is
children to eat their soup.
Children are by far the best salespeople in the world, because they don't take no for granted. They don't take no for granted. They go for what they want. And children are the best sales, but everyone is a sales. We need to change this mentality, and the way we change it is very simple. If you say to a person, selling is serving, selling is serving, then we start changing this mindset about and around the negative beliefs about sales.
That's right. Abdel, have you noticed how 26 minutes have just gone so fast? They just flew by. And flowing by with you is just a breeze, the coolest breeze with the coolest cat. And with these words, please let me thank you again for being here with us. Thank you to the production team and Andy, who's in the background there, making sure that we're okay. We love you, Andy. Thank you all for listening. It's been great having you here. Come visit us anytime. We're here for you. Watch out for the afternoon show. And we bid you farewell for just now. Happy selling, selling with value, selling with value. We'll see you next time. Cheerio for now.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.